I've been struggling with something, and it's knowing what is enough. And it came up in a recent conversation on Cal Callahan's podcast when I was with him last in Austin. Some of the questions that are rattling in between my ears are, well, what actually constitutes a good life? Are we talking material wealth or personal happiness, moral virtues, or something else entirely? How do these different philosophies that I'm learning about, and you're probably looking about, and you hear about Stoicism, Buddhism, existentialism, how do they define a good life? And what is actually resonating with me? And are what they saying true to me? Another question, what is actually true happiness? Is happiness a fleeting emotion, or is it something completely deeper like eudaimonia or flourishing? How does pleasure, joy, contentment, play actually come into the understanding of what is happiness for me? How much do I actually need with material possessions? Business is going fantastic. Do I need to be working more? Should I be working more, or should I be doing other things? Why am I working more for more money if I don't necessarily need it? I got to be honest, you put $10 million more in my bank account, I'm still going to be wearing these same clothes. I'm still going to want to be here sharing this with you right now. So should I be working more, or should I be spending more time with you here doing this? These are some of the questions that are going through my head as I try and figure out what my core values are. What are my actual priorities? Are my daily activities, such as what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, are they actually aligned with my long-term goals, with those values? What about my relationships with myself, with my wife, with my daughters, with my friends, with my colleagues, with my team members? How does that all come into place? What about my purpose in life? Okay, you get to the point, and that's exactly why I wanted to share this with you today.
What's the biggest thing you've pulled from, the book that you're writing right now? What, I forget who said it, but it's something to the effect of, we write the book that we want to read, not the stuff that we already know.
The only reason I'm writing it. The only reason I'm writing it is because I've got to sort this out for myself. So for me, it was.
By the way, you're a beautiful writer. You're on your website, chrisdufey.com. We'll link to that. But you have some incredible essays. So yeah, I really enjoyed going through those.
Well, if at any point, Cal, you want to kick me up the arse to be able to write more, please do so, because I want to be able to produce more. And honestly, it's me being able to be like, no, this is my time and space where I sit down and I be able to write. And I don't make the excuses. Like, I started the new company like 9 weeks ago. So that's obviously been a lot of time and effort going into that. And then previously it was percolating inside of me to be like, oh, okay, I feel like I want to build something now since selling the last company. And so this came out of me. But for me, the writing it's healing. It's healing. And being able to see a problem, such as the book. The concept was, well, what is enough? And I wanted to truly answer that from a practical, philosophical point of view, where I could really be able to form an argument for myself and to be able to live from that place, knowing what the truth can be from that. And it's been really interesting being able to go through the different arguments that can be made for, why does somebody want to strive for more? Why do you want more at the end of the day? Are you just going after something that is something you don't actually want to be going after? Like, is it just mimesis? Do you mean like Rene Girard's mimetic theory? If I'm hanging around a certain people and they're wanting to achieve and go after certain things, I can fall into mimesis and then start going after other things. And that's not truly myself, which I have done many times before. And so it comes under what I see as bullshitting myself. And so if I'm bullshitting myself, I'm effectively telling myself a porcupine lie that is not the truth to where I need to be as well. And it's not best in alignment with myself. And so it's been interesting. If like, money's an interesting part because it's one of the easiest scoreboards to look up at. And especially coming from the entrepreneurial world and loving that so much, and then now being able to be inside of so many businesses, it's easy to look up at the scoreboard at the end of every day, at the end of every month, at the end of every quarter, and be like, hey, this is what's going on right now. Have you subscribed? If not, this is the best time for you to subscribe, whether you're on the YouTube or on the podcast.
Why? Because it would be a bummer if you missed out on everything that's to come, or don't subscribe if you're not actually getting much value out of this, because there is a zillion other things that you could be doing. So I'd rather you go and do that. The ball's in your court.
But the things that miss that in so many different contexts is, well, what am I not seeing by looking up at that? Am I seeing the relationship with my wife, with my 4 daughters, with myself, with my friends, with my health? And so I've worked to try and keep it practical for myself. So at the end of every day, like I journal every day quickly. It's not a long process. And I rank myself in 6 areas of life every single day. So with myself as a husband, as a father, as an entrepreneur, as a friend, and my health and my happiness. They're the 6 areas that I look at every single day. And at the start of the day, I'll give myself an intention. So this is important. I want to make it
in each of the areas, or just an overall intention?
Each of the areas. In every 6 of the areas, I'll write an intention for the day. My intention for today as a friend was to have a great connection with yourself and David. My intention as an entrepreneur was to get a couple of things done that I got done earlier this morning. Now, I'll rank myself as those as well. So practically, as a friend, as an entrepreneur, with my health, let's say, for example, I'll rank high today because I've been able to set a clear intention and I would have achieved those things. But as a father and a husband, I'm going to give myself a 1 out of 10. Why? Because I'm in Austin right now and my family's in Australia. Like, I'll have some audio notes and stuff like that as well. We have a bit of a family ritual at dinner time. We ask ourselves 4 questions, which is, what was my favorite part of today? What am I looking forward to tomorrow? What am I grateful for? And what's one thing that I did kindly for somebody else, right? So there's 4 questions that we go through. And so our kind of little rituals of families, whenever I'm away, that they go around the dinner table and they'll do an audio note and send me that, and I'll do the same back. And so that's our little connection on a daily basis.
Beautiful.
It's amazing and it's great, but like, I'm not there. I'm not picking them up from school today. And I've struggled with that, which is interesting. Previous to coming out of the tunnel, I really struggled with it. Like, I remember being on that trip when I first met you, and at the end of the day, every day, if I wasn't crying, I was pretty close to crying because I was like, fuck, I'm away from the family. I feel guilty. And I felt so guilty. I had this conversation with Stephanos. Do you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Had this conversation with Stephanos, and I said to him like how guilty I was feeling during the whole time. And it was actually just my birthday before then as well. And I didn't celebrate it. I didn't even tell any of my friends it was my birthday coming up. Like, I just completely shunned the whole thing. And Stefan was like, dude, that's terrible of you. Like, we got to fix that. I was like, I know. But what's interesting now is I don't feel so much of the guilt. I can clearly see that it's gone down because I know that I'm on my mission. And there's me on my mission, and I'm very clear and distinct about that and what I have to do, and also how that parlays into helping and aiding and providing for my family as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've traveled quite a bit recently, and my wife, Lauren, is incredible. And she's like, you go do your thing because I see that you need to go do your thing. And she's fully supportive of that. And she's like, I've got this here. Do you mean we have our rules and regulations? I was like, I don't want to be away for too long as well, because she's got 4 girls between 2 and 10 at the moment that she's handling and doing marvelously. And so for me, it's just been a case of how am I best able to then answer these different questions? And with this book, how much is enough? How much money is enough? Because I remember when I did my first $100,000 month, I was like, oh my God, 100 grand in a month? That's incredible. And then I remember very clearly seeing shortly after, like, I had the thought, 100 grand a month, amazing. How fast can I get to $1 million a month? And then I caught myself with that thought after, and I was like, hang on, is that a healthy thought? And I don't know about you, Cal, but like, I will achieve something is like, as soon as I'm there, like as soon as I sold my last company, I was like, that's good. All right, I want to continue on to the next thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I already knew what I wanted to move on to, and therefore I just continued on. but I've been crap at celebrating. And I've been crap at enjoying the process as much. Like I know if someone was like, oh, like, what's the advice that you would give your 20-year-old self, Chris? I'd be like, enjoy more of the process. Enjoy the ups and enjoy the downs. It's all part and parcel of it. It's all natural for it to happen that way.
If you've enjoyed this episode and it's vibed with you, then make sure that you hit subscribe, whether you're on the YouTube or on the podcast. And importantly, if there is any guests that you want me to have on the show or specific questions or topics that you want me to be able to cover for you, simply put it into the YouTube comments or send me an Instagram DM. That way I can make sure you're getting the most out of actually being here.